this load I deliver in Miami, I go run the turnpike, go down. But I decide for instead run 95, get off on 62nd, and run that, go over to 32nd Avenue. So I gotta be there by 8. It's about 6:20 now, so I got plenty of time to reach there. I hear this I'm a typical morning, like you get up whenever I'm gonna spend the night at the customer. Get up, get yourself together, pre-trip, all them things there, and then I try to get to the customer at least an hour before my appointment time. That way if I can't find it, if I have a problem finding the address, I still have time to find it, still have time to figure it out before I run late. And then if I get there early and they decide to take it early, that's a plus. I get up out of there. But we're going to go up here, run Atlantic to 95, jump on 95 South, get off at exit 6, and run that over. Should be a fairly smooth ride, even though it's somewhat getting into rush hour time, but still have time to make it. And I always put my address in Google also. I don't just use the Rand McNally. Sometimes the Rand McNally could throw you off. I use both of them, Rand McNally and Google. That way
Worldwide Express LLC may be closed by the time you arrive.
I could compare my route.
Head east toward Northwest 31st Avenue, Atlantic Boulevard EXD, then turn right onto Northwest 31st
Alright,
Avenue.
now I got 1 hour drive time. It's showing in the yellow, which means the traffic building up. So we're going to head on down here, try to see if we could beat most of the traffic. if you pull container down here in Florida, if you live in Miami or anywhere between Palm Beach and Miami, you could run for tropical. They're not the highest paying, but they're consistent. If you live in Fort Lauderdale, you could run from Pompano to Palm Beach
In a quarter mile, use
all
the
day.
left 2 lanes to turn left onto
If
West
you live in Miami, you could run out of Medley. You could run from Medley to Palm Beach all day. If you start late, you'll get about 2 loads a day, 2 round
Use the
trip,
left 2 lanes to turn left onto West Atlantic Boulevard.
which will be considered 4 loads, because going up is 1 load, coming down is another load, going up is another load, coming back down is another load. That's how they look on the loads. So you could look on it as a load, or you could look on it as a move. But you could do 4 moves easy if you start late. If you start early, like what I do, I normally start about, say, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Because you have some customers that you just go in there to drop off an empty. So you don't really gotta get it signed. All you gotta do is go there and park it. If they have a yard, you park it in the yard. And one of the good things about running the same customers all the time, you kind of know how they operate. So once you've been there a few times, you'll know if they want the empty in the dock or the one in the yard. So once you get used to them, you go and they close. You could either drop in the dock or drop in the yard. And then once you drop that, before like the end of today, you will already know your first 2 moves for the next day. So once you go drop an empty, or you might have 2, 3 empties that you gotta go drop. So by the time you finish with those, then people in the office, your dispatcher will come in, and then they'll dispatch you on the rest of your loads for the day. Your other option would be once you drop an empty, you might go pick up a load somewhere in the area, or you might pick up a load from the drop yard and bring it back to the port. And they have a few drop yards in the area. They have one in Pompano, they have one down in Medley, and then they use some customers' lot as drop yards. So if you gotta go to the drop yard, pick up a load, sometimes the paperwork will be on the container, sometimes it won't. Depends on the drop yard location. And sometimes you gotta take an empty back to the port too. So if you go to the drop yard, pick up an empty, you don't need no paperwork for that. You just pick it up and head on back up. It's good to beat the traffic on your first move. That way the rest of your day, even if you hit traffic, you know that you're already in the green because you already did a 1 round trip. If you live in Pompano or Miami, it's good to start off down south. So you grab a box down south and take it north, take it to Palm Beach. You don't want to start off in Palm Beach because you got to get up early, head up there, bobtail up there. So as soon as the port open, you could get your load and head on back south. Likewise, if you live up north, you don't want to start in the south because it's like starting backwards. A tropical one of the easiest port to run out of. You'll learn tropical in no time. And most days it's not backed up in there. The only day when they really get backed up is on Thursdays, because that's when they load all the big ship. All the other days they load smaller ships, so it's not so backed up in there. They don't have all the strides back there working the ship. If you're working for Tropical, you could work for them as a company driver. You could lease on to them, or you could get your own authority and pull their containers. And their port is more like a private port. It's not like Port of Miami and Port Everglades and them other ports. They kind of control everything over there as far as the ship, the chassis, the containers. So basically they control the work. Another port that's similar to Tropical is Blunt Island. They're up in Jacksonville. That's an easy port to learn also. And it's a similar situation like Tropical. When you run down here, man, the likelihood of getting into an accident when you run local down here is real high. Yeah, these four-wheelers down here, man, you gotta pay attention to them. I think they drive worse than anywhere else you go. Down here, the cost of living high and the jobs pay cheap. So a lot of them don't have no insurance.